Hi guys, so here's my first YouTube Q&A. I posted a picture on my Instagram and had you guys ask me some questions, so now I will answer them. You guys asked a lot of really good questions and I hope I can get to them all. I will, even if I have to make 2 videos for it, because you guys asked some really good questions that I would love to respond to. So first couple questions. How do you track your macros all day long and eat whatever you like every single day? / similar question, do you measure every single thing you eat or ever eyeball things such as vegetables? So yes, I track my macros all day long. After you get used to tracking your macros for a while, you can plan your whole day probably within like 30 seconds. Okay, maybe like a minute or so. I usually track my day of macros ahead of time, so usually like the night before or like the morning of, if I'm laying in bed or something like that, I'll like plan my day out so I don't go about the whole entire day tracking. I usually, when I eat my food, I'll either remember what I tracked, because I usually do similar foods every day. Sometimes I'll switch it up, but after a while you learn what you like and then you eat what you like. I'll switch it up after a while, but usually I'll plan everything the day before, so when I go to eat my meals, it's just already in my FitnessPal and then I'll just follow it. And I do measure essentially everything, especially if I'm in very close to a competition, so usually like 4 weeks out or so, I'll absolutely measure every single vegetable and condiment and things like that I use. But if I'm a little further away from a competition or I'm in my off season like I am now, I'll usually kind of eyeball like lettuce or reduced sugar ketchup or like honey mustard or things like that. Not like my big portions like oatmeal, and not my carbs and sweet potatoes and meats and things like that. And I'll always weigh out my peanut butter in on my food scale, and I'll use grams. I usually do stay pretty strict with how I measure things and how often I measure things, but after a while, like I said, you get practice and you can kind of eyeball portion sizes if you have to or need to or want to, and you don't want to track everything super strictly. A lot of people get less stressed out when they know and understand their portion sizes, and they know that they can kind of just estimate the portion sizes if they choose to do so. I personally like to measure everything out, but like for example, the other day I went to Chipotle, and usually I'll ask for everything in side cups so I can measure it all out, but the other day I kind of just looked and saw how they did it and estimated, because I usually do weigh it out, so once I've weighed it out once, I can kind of estimate how much the portion sizes normally are that they offer. So I did not weigh out my Chipotle the other day, and it was so good. Alright, one of the other favorite questions that I had to answer was, how do you not allow a setback to keep you from moving forward? This person said that they were going really strong with their workouts and their macros, and then they started slacking off a little bit just because of life and like things happen. That comes easier for me because I have dealt with that many times in the past. So after you've had a setback a lot of times, which you will, that is life, you're always going to have setbacks. Success is not a continuous straight path forward. You're going to go up and then you're going to go down, and you're going to go up and you're going to go down, and you're going to have setbacks constantly. You try to limit those as often as you can, and then once you learn about your setbacks and you learn how you deal with them and then how you best deal with them, you can limit them more often, and then you get better at your craft and things like that, and then you figure out the best ways to deal with them. But like I've said, I've had many setbacks. I've dealt with them in bad ways and I've dealt with them in good ways. So when you learn to deal with them in the good ways, such as not saying, I ate over my macros for meal 1, so screw it for the rest of the day, I'm going to continue eating over my macros for the rest of the day. You can do that, and then you can learn from it because you see your progress declining if you continue doing that. Or you can practice, what's the word I'm looking for? Or you can do the other positive thing, I'm not sure the words that I'm looking for, and say, okay, maybe I had a small setback and I haven't been doing as perfect and I haven't been totally on my macros and I've been slacking in the gym, and then you can create a plan in your head and use your willpower and your determination and just remember what you want and what your goals are, and then just focus on putting your actions towards them. It doesn't have to be like all in or all out. It can be small goals at a time. So for example, you can say, tomorrow I'm going to just get to the gym. Even if I just stand there and like stretch or like walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes. If you haven't been going to the gym at all, going there is huge. So again, it's very small goals, working towards a larger goal, and the more practice you have at failing and then succeeding again, you'll learn how to get with the program a little faster and have less setbacks, and you understand how much setbacks suck once you continuously have less and less setbacks and actually see how much progress you can make without the setbacks. So for me, I know if I'm consistent for a very long period of time, I know what the results are going to bring. So having setbacks is a little difficult, knowing that when I don't, I do really well. Are you a low weight, high rep lifter, or do you train heavy on a regular basis? It seems so many people say women should focus on lower weight, but I see many in the industry that are extremely strong. I love heavy lifting. I think there is a purpose for all rep schemes. So there's totally a purpose for low reps and heavy weight, and that's to build your strength. But then when you build your strength, you can increase your weight for those higher rep movements, so then you'll burn your muscles more and tear those muscle fibers more when you're doing the high rep movements, which means you're going to build more muscle, have more strength, continue to build more muscle. There's a point for everything. Not only does having strength and being able to deadlift and squat and bench press like a badass make you help you with your overall muscle building, for that reason that I just said, it makes you feel strong and powerful, and as a woman, and you constantly feel like you should be weak, and society tells you you should probably not be so bulky and you should probably not lift heavy because you're gonna get bulky, and women should be weak and dainty and fragile. Making yourself feel strong and powerful is empowering on the outside and on the inside. So I really believe that strength training mixed with bodybuilding and higher rep scheme training is effective for muscle growth, for strength gains, for mentality gains, for everything all around. I think that they work well and help one another. So the more strong you are allows you to build more muscle, and your bodybuilding effectiveness increases, and then your strength building effectiveness increases. I like doing them both. I totally think there's a purpose for high reps also, but it's not the only thing you should be doing, I don't think. I think you should incorporate strength training and bodybuilding style training, because they'll both work in your favor. What else here? What you wish you knew before your first competition. There are many things I wish I knew before my first competition. Number one, expenses. I wish someone told me that you have to probably pay $1,000-ish per show that you do. When everything kind of adds up. So you want your hair to look nice, so you either want some hair extensions or to get your hair done beforehand, like cut and color, and then you also maybe want to get your hair done for the show if you don't know how to do your hair, a couple $100s. You want your makeup to look nice, so if you don't know how to do makeup, you either have to buy makeup and try to do it yourself, or get your makeup done, another $100 or so. Your suit, if you want a nice blinged out pretty suit that you don't, there's ways to save money. You can get a cheap suit and then bling it up yourself. I've done that before. But again, if you want like a nice, really pretty suit that you want to feel good in and you want to wear a couple times and have it upwards $200 to upwards of like $1,000, depending on, like if you're doing your first show, like probably get like a little bit of cheaper one just to see, because you probably don't know exactly what you like or how it's going to fit, so you might like, want to get another one. If you're doing like a national show, you're going to want to get like, probably a little bit more expensive one, because you want to be comparable to everybody else who may be getting super expensive ones. What else? Your heels are probably going to be around $30. Entry fees are probably going to be between $100 and $300, depending on if you're doing a local or a national show. You have to pay to be in the organization that you're doing, so like WBFF, NPC, OCB, all of those organizations, you have to pay to be in them. So NPC cards are $120. Show entry fees themselves, I said that already. There's probably plenty of things that I'm forgetting. Oh, food, all your food for the week, you have to pay for that, that's important. Probably a coach, probably like $500 upwards, is depending on how long you need a coach for. You can do it without a coach. I did my first couple preps without a coach. It's much better to do it with a coach, I think. So again, it can get pretty expensive. I wish I knew that beforehand, but that's okay. You kind of just find out as you go along. I also kind of wish that I knew that post-show binging and continuing to binge was not worth it at all. You may think that you want to eat all of the foods, all of them, just all of the food. You may think that you want and you need all of them because your body is telling you, you've been starving forever. You need all of this food right now in your body. You don't need it. It's awful. I'll do another separate vlog about post-show binging and how detrimental it can be to your health and your mentality. And just please don't do it. Have a plan after your competition. That's my number one thing. Have a plan post-show. Think about post-show during your prep. Do not just focus on prep and the day of and that is it, because once that is over, you could mentally break down. Like, there's a really good chance of that happening, especially if it's your first show and you haven't experienced how it feels to not have super lean body anymore that you've been staring at and hoping to get leaner and leaner every day for weeks now, and then all of a sudden it's getting less lean and less lean and less lean, and then you're like, it's not fun. Just have a plan post-show and then make your goals realistic and just stay happy the whole entire time. You look great regardless of how skinny and lean you are for a show. Not skinny, muscly is strong. But I feel like a string bean right now. What else? Did you lose friends after getting into the fitness life? Was it hard to transition? How do you explain to your friends, family, co-workers about your lifestyle if you're just starting the fitness lifestyle? This one is huge for me. It totally hits home for me because I've had to deal with this in the past. I started my fitness lifestyle, I guess you can call it, when I started getting serious and competing about sophomore year of college. I just graduated this past May, so I've been in it about like 2 years now. Probably a little longer, whatever. Either way, when I first started, it was kind of a disaster. Everyone was wondering, like, why can't you go out to eat with me? Why can't you go out drinking? It's your senior year of college. You're missing out on all of the fun. You're supposed to be making all of the memories. These are the best years of your life. Why can't you come out to lunch this weekend with the girls? Why do you have to bring your food and food scale everywhere you go? All of these questions will happen all of the time for you. Especially now, they do for me too. Like when you go to a new job and you have to explain to them why you have your food scale with you. At this point, for me, I know that I'm confident in what I do and I'm gonna do what I do regardless of whether or not people like it. So I kind of just explain it in like a nice polite way, and I say I'm a bodybuilder, I compete in fitness competitions, I track all my food so I can control my body composition based off of how much food I'm eating, so I know my calorie intake, and then I like to live a healthy lifestyle. The other funny thing that I get that I think is hysterical is people ask me what I do to work out, because apparently girls can't lift, and that's not a normal thing people know about still. I get a lot of, are you a gymnast? Are you a dancer? Like, I'm terrible at gymnastics, and I'm terrible at dancing, and I'm terrible at sports. I started lifting because I was bad at sports. So no, I'm not a gymnast. I'm a goddamn bodybuilder. That's funny. I just think that's hysterical that everybody asks, like, how did you get your muscles? Like, you know, I always kind of say, like, you know, like guys in the gym who work out, that's what I do. And then people are like, oh. Anyways, I hope in a couple of years that becomes a normal thing for people. to understand that yes, females can lift weights as well, and they don't have to look manly, because I don't think I look manly. I think I look great.